Here's a short video about problem solving involving angles. Now the key with most angles problems is that they won't tell you which rules you've got to know. You need to know all the rules, and that's why this week's must task is to make sure you've done all of the MyMaths. If you've done all of the MyMaths, then really the should task becomes your must task and the could task becomes your should task. But if you've not done all of the MyMaths tasks, you must do them first. Now with this problem, before I do any of it, I can see there are loads of different possible rules for me to use. I've got two triangles, the smaller triangle here and the larger triangle here. I've also got a quadrilateral down here, and there are rules obviously for angles in a triangle, angles in a quadrilateral. I've got a pair of parallel lines, so there are rules I know involving them. I've got angles on a straight line. I've got opposite angles. So there are lots of different rules that I could use to find x. And there are lots of different methods, different routes to the same destination in this problem. And there are different ways of doing it. And this is the way I would do it. The first thing I would notice is that I've got two angles on a straight line here. And I would say that this angle is 60 degrees. As I said on the video last time, that might not be useful to me, or it might be useful to me. But the key point is, if you're not sure, is just to work out as many angles as you can. And hopefully most of the time, in the end, you'll get to the one you want. The next thing I would notice, that this angle here and this angle here are corresponding. They're on these parallel lines here. They're on the same line here, they're in the same position. They're both in top right. So this angle here must be 70 degrees. And then I've got three angles in a triangle. I know two of them. I know that all the three internal angles have to add up to 180. So I know that x must be equal to 180 minus off the 70 minus off the 60, which means that x is 50 degrees. Okay, loads of different ways I could have gone at that question. I could have done the angles in the quadrilateral, I could have done the angles in the big triangle, lots of different ways, but that was the way I wanted to do it. The key thing was I just kept working out angles and I know all the different rules. The other main type of question you're going to look at this week is one a bit like this. Now as soon as I start seeing these different algebraic expressions, I should probably know that it's pretty likely that I'm going to make an equation. I know that this and this and this must all add up together to equal 180. And the first thing I can do is basically just write down that fact. X plus 20, which is that top angle you can see I've written very badly up the top there, plus 2x minus 20, plus 2x minus 40 has to equal 180. That I know that's a fact. Those three angles, if I add them together, have to equal 180, and already I've made myself an equation. Now the left side of that equation isn't really looking very nice, but I can make it look a lot nicer. I know that x and 2x and 2x is 5x. I know that 20 and minus 20, well, they cancel out to make nothing, and then minus 40, so it must be altogether 5x minus 40 equals 180. And then we know we're good at solving equations. Draw your line if that makes you happy. I've got minus 40 I want to get rid of. So I'm going to add the 40. That gives me 5x equals 220. And then I want to divide off that 5. Divide by 5 gives me x equals... Oh, let's do a quick bit of bus stop because I've left my Casio calculator in the other room. 5s into 220, 5s into 2 don't go, remainder 2, 22 go 4 times remainder 2, and into 20 they go 4 times, so x equals 44 degrees. And if I wanted to, I could use that to work out the angles. If x is 44 degrees, then this one here, x plus 20 must be 64, 2x minus 20, well, it must be 68, and 2x minus 40, that must be 48, and if I could check, I could add those up and check they equal 180, but this one just wanted me to find what x is, and x is 44. So that covers the two main questions you need. In that should task, the should task is very similar to this question, it's just a bit longer. It's got loads of angles for you to work out, but you just keep using those rules. You don't need to worry about the order you do the angles in, just keep using those rules that you know that you've learnt from the MyMaths lessons. And then the could task, the challenge questions, is a mix of the two. Let me know if you've got any problems, and I hope that's helpful.